Hi, I'm Guy Spiro, here with the United States of Aquarius. I write and record this shortly after the historic election of 2008. We are at a turning point in this country and in the world. Schadenfreude and the rest of the world over the current U.S. economic situation has been short-lived, as it quickly became clear that our problem is their problem, whether they fancy themselves friend or foe. But my point in this message is not that the U.S. remains dominant economically, militarily, or even politically. While that may or may not be true, it is at the cultural level that the influence of the United States is most important. Now, when people from other countries and cultures say things like, "Oh, America, it's such a young country, such a young culture, such an upstart. Where does it get off telling the rest of the world anything about how to live or how to be?" They have some valid points. It's nobody's business to tell anybody else how to live or to be. And they are certainly correct that compared to many countries and cultures, America is indeed young, chronologically. But here's what they miss. America may be a young country and culture, but it is the oldest Aquarian country and culture. America was born at the moment when the age of Aquarius first began to physically manifest. Indeed, the American Revolution is one of the key indicators of the advent of the New Age. Acknowledging that America was born amid the realities of slavery and genocide, what tends to be forgotten is that at the time of the Revolution, slavery and genocide were still taken for granted. That was simply the way things had been done for thousands of years. Since the founding of America, these things have not been completely eradicated, but still exist only on the fringes and in the darkest corners of the world, still under the sway of old paradigms. They are antithetical to the new paradigm, and America, at its core, at the level of the spirit of the country, continues as a beacon of the new paradigm to the rest of the world. Critics of America, foreign or domestic, like to paint it as an empire. But America is not a boots-on-the-ground empire like the British or Roman empires of the past. What is thought of as an American empire is in reality a corporatist empire. And the multinational corporations owe allegiance only to themselves and what they grudgingly grant their shareholders. American military projection around the world is a vestige of the old order, which is fading fast, but still has a viability that remains dangerous, as the last 8 years have proven. But what is also being proved is the increasing irrelevance of military might. Imposition of the will of one culture over another by military means no longer works in and of itself, and negotiations with local sheikhs in Iraq has shown that clearly. Peace in the world will only be achieved cooperatively, with respect for the individual and the various countries and cultures where the individual may reside. The main paradigms of the emerging age of Aquarius are self-responsibility and individual illumination. As becomes increasingly clear, enlightened individualism realizes the necessity of joining with other enlightened individuals for the common good. We are moving from a rather blind surrender and giving up of individual power to whatever power structures that may be, into an age of self-empowerment and self-direction. It is commonly known that many of the founders of the United States were members of groups like the Masons, Rosicrucians, and Hermetic orders, and the wording of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution reflects their understanding of esoteric teachings, the advent of a new age with new paradigms, and the emerging importance of the illuminating and self-responsible individual. All men are created equal. Okay, women, descendants of slaves, and Native Americans especially, have all been waiting a long time for equality. But the trend is clearly in the right direction, and that trend got its start with the Declaration. Treasured concepts such as freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom from search and seizure, and many others that have become void where prohibited by law, in some cases, a funny poster, but a serious problem. Freedom and liberty can only be safeguarded by a vigilant and involved population. There is a story of Franklin being asked by a woman, "What kind of government have you given us, sir?" and answering, "A republic, madam, if you can keep it." This past election has shown that we can continue to keep it, and build upon it, and remain as an example to the world. We must never be discouraged by the setbacks that are inevitable on the long road to a bright new age, and a new level of human evolution that the United States and the ever-increasing numbers of other Aquarian countries are leading to. Understand this: the society that allows for the widest and freest expression of the human spirit is the most Aquarian. The United States of America, yes, can also be called the United States of Aquarius.